year and a half ago, I think we met. And he's been trying to get me to come, and I've been wanting to get out here, but Monday nights are oftentimes bad for me. This worked out really well. I'm not going to take too much time. I told him maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'll tell you guys a little bit about me, the business I've started, and my military experience, which, talking to you guys here, mine is pretty mediocre. I didn't do too much. I was in the Navy, went in 1984, go Navy, and I got out in 1990. I was telling the guys here a little earlier, my recruiter signed me up for 2 years on the slide. I was only going in for 4, but he gave me signed that, check the box, and did 2 more years. I was like, oh, what's more 2 years of my life, right? 20 years old, what do I got to do? The only distinguishing thing, I was telling the story the other day, I was on the USS Florence initially, which is a guided missile destroyer. I was a fire controlman. When I went in, they were FTGs and FTMs, fire controlman, missile and fire control guns, but they combined the rate when I was in. So that's the first ship I was on. Nothing really exciting happened. A couple cruises. We went on a med cruise and around South America. Unitas cruise was the very first cruise I was on. That was pretty exciting. So decommissioned the ship, and I had about 9 months left at that point, so they sent me to another ship that was going to be decommissioned, and that was USS Iowa, battleship. Anybody seen any battleships? I will tell you one thing, the ship that I was on, it was out in Los Angeles now, they turned it into an absolutely amazing museum. Highly recommend going out there and seeing it if you are a Navy person and you'd like to see it. But even if you're not, it's still it's an amazing floating museum. But one of the things that was interesting about the Iowa, it's the only ship in the Navy that has a bathtub, and that was because of here comes the rain again. I guess I do need this mic. It's the only ship in the Navy that has a bathtub in it, and they did that because of FDR. FDR went over there, and they actually, when he met with Churchill and Stalin, and we just had the 79th anniversary of D-Day, well, when they went over there, they met, and they were discussing the D-Day invasion. So anyways, long story short, they had a bathtub in that ship, and when I went out there, I told the guy that I used to be responsible, our group, we were in the stateroom on many occasions because we had the responsibility of guarding the captain. The captain on that ship was a large enough ship that we walked around with an armed guard all the time. So anyways, I said I knew about the bathtub, and he was like, well, come on, let's go check it out. And we went in, and he let me sit in the bathtub. The girl also took a picture of us in the bathtub, so I actually got to sit in the same bathtub that FDR did. Not at the same time, but that's still my claim to fame. So it's the same thing that happened to me when I was in the Navy. So what did I do? I got into the Navy in 1990, and I started working for IBM. And propensity to hire people out of the military back then. So I did 25 years with IBM. Once again, nothing special, nothing exciting. I just realized that they wanted me to move up to Washington because I was working up there Monday through Friday for 6.5 years. I flew out. I lived in Florida for a while, and in the Carolinas. And I used to fly out every Monday morning and come back Friday evening. And they finally got to the point where they were trying to move everybody up there. And at my point, I was like, all right, I'm done. I love DC, and I like working up there, but I do not want to live up there with the traffic and the craziness and the cost of living. It was just not my cup of tea. So anyways, that's when I parted ways with IBM. And my wife at the time said, we need to find something else to do. You can't hang around the house this much. I'm used to you being gone 5 days a week. You need to find something to do. And a good friend of mine said, this is probably like your last chapter in life. You should really look to find out something you really want to do versus something you have to do. I had a couple offers from Microsoft and other IT organizations. And it was the same thing. They were being on the road all the time. And I was like, I want to find something different to do. So one of the last projects I had with IBM, I was working at the Pentagon, and it was really nice working with veterans. We were there when 9/11 happened. We were actually just helped rebuild the Pentagon. And those of you guys that know, when the Pentagon was hit, the red ship was hit. that wedge was being refurbished by our team. And one of the things they were doing, they were putting glass resistant windows all on the exterior Pentagon. And that wedge that they hit was almost completely evacuated because they were doing all this construction. So in reality, that was the best green wedge that could have been hit. It would have been far worse if it would have been anywhere else, or if the plane would have went into the center of the Pentagon. So we were really lucky in that perspective that there wasn't much more loss of life. But the reason I tell that story is, of all the jobs, all the things I did for IBM, I think I enjoyed that the most because it was helping fellow veterans. So when I started thinking about what I could do with the rest of my life to get out of the house so I could go out going crazy, I came upon an opportunity called Right at Home. And basically what we do is we provide in-home care service for seniors. And of course, a lot of veterans, there's a lot of seniors, a lot of people retiring, so I thought to myself, this is one way I could give back to the veteran community and help veterans. Because that stint with IBM, it really made me realize that I like doing that. I liked helping out the folks that I knew and appreciate. And so I do it so well, I guess some people ask me, do you only take care of veterans? And I know, it's open to everybody. You just, you gotta be old. We don't take care of, we take care of young adults. You actually literally have to be 18 years or older. But our goal, once again, is to keep seniors in their home as long as possible. There's another woman that I partner with, Deb Scholl, I call her my partner in crime. If you ever get to the point where you do not want to be in your home any longer, you have to move into a community or a facility, Deb and I partner so well. And Deb sponsors the Bruinsure that Brent so nicely mentioned earlier, that we both do that because I feel it's a great opportunity for the two of us to work together to help seniors. So we do everything in the home short of a skilled nurse. So if you had a registered nurse in your home, we do everything short of that. And there's just a couple things we can't do that nurses do. And once again, our goal is to keep you in your home as long as possible, and I like to say, let seniors age with dignity. Because I think everybody wants to be at home, usually you're with a loved one, and it's the best way to age. You know your home, you go into a community, and sometimes people start to suffer with dementia, and it gets a little tough when you're in a new community like that. So let me pause for a second. First of all, ask if there's any questions, because I find this to be very open and interactive. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about Bruinsure. Any questions, first of all? So, go ahead.
What is the cost of service?
Services, and I'm glad you asked that question, because it depends on your level of care, first of all. And then I also, particularly when you're a veteran, you can get a lot of services paid for by the VA. So when I ask individuals when they come on board, I always ask them if they're a vet. And if they are, I'm going to go down the path with Melinda Wooders. I think a lot of you guys probably know Melinda Wooders. She's a great advocate veteran here in our community and runs the VA. And there's also other opportunities to get free services that basically pay for it. But we are anywhere from $27 to $31 an hour. So it is kind of expensive, so that's why I'm always looking to try to find opportunities for people to get the bill paid, basically. There's another area agency called Catawba Area Agency on Aging. I know that's an mouthful, I call them CAAA. But they provide free money, not only for veterans, but anybody. And there's no means test, so you do get it from them. And it's called a respite grant. But there are multiple opportunities to get free services and reduce cost services. So I suggest, like I said, if you're in that, if you need the help, just give our office a call. And I'm always happy to point you in the right direction and help you get services any way we can. So as Brent mentioned, we met at Bruinsure. And gosh, it's coming up on 2 years now that I've been doing it. I was looking at the date the other day. I've been in business about 6 years. It'll actually be 6 years in November. I didn't plan this, but I opened up on Veterans Day. It was supposed to be in August, but to get through all the red tape of the city and my license and everything, it took a bit longer, so I literally ended up November 9th on Veterans Day 6 years ago. Literally did not plan that. But I wanted to try to get the word out there about my business, of course, and also engage more with the veteran community. So I was looking for a spot, and I reached out to Golden Corral, and there was an old Golden Corral on Cherry Road. You guys have been around here for a little while, you might remember that older one. Well, that was right around the time that I was trying to get this off the ground, and you also remember that was right around the time that COVID was in our midst, unfortunately. So I waited until the new Golden Corral opened up, and come to find out, Golden Corral is a huge supporter of our veteran community. They give meals away to veterans every Veterans Day. You can go in there and get a free meal, and they're really supportive of the veteran community, which makes me really, really happy that I decided to partner with them, and they allow us to use their building the first Tuesday of every month, as Brent mentioned. So this next month, and Brent, I can't believe I didn't bring flyers. Here I am. Maybe you guys are usually more prepared than this. But we've talked about it. Put it on your calendar, because one of the things, what we're doing this Tuesday, Harvey Mayhem, several of you guys probably know Harvey, but he heads up the Quilts of Valor. Anybody familiar with the Quilts of Valor? You heard about that before? A couple hands. So those of you that are a veteran, Quilts of Valor, they have these quilters, seamsters, that do these absolutely beautiful quilts. And they present them to the veteran. And you only have to nominate someone. If you know someone that you want to do it, they have a website. You go out there, you put their information in there, and they will make you one of these absolutely beautiful quilts. So Harvey's going to be presenting 5 of them this next month. And as Brent mentioned, it's going to be July 5th, which is a Wednesday versus a Tuesday. But if you want to come out and see that and see some of the quilts, it's absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing 5 of them that day. Brian, if you're there, you're going to have to help me keep Harvey on track, because Harvey has a tendency to go along a little bit. And it's hard not to when they present the quilts, because it's so moving. The people do know they're coming. Harvey told me, because he actually presented one to me, you don't want to shock the person, and because sometimes people, veterans in particular, are like, well, I don't deserve it. I know guys that died, and they're more deserving. So he always says, you don't want to surprise someone or shock someone. So anyways, we're going to have 5 people. One of the individuals that's going to receive it, Tom, is the general manager of Golden Corral, Army veteran. He's going to get the first one, and then there's going to be 4 other individuals that are going to be presenting quilts on that Wednesday. So if you want to come out, free cup of coffee, free donuts, we do that, like I said, the first Tuesday. And I'm always looking for individuals that aren't selling something. I can't stand when people take care of veterans, particularly in my business. I see a lot of people that are starting to decline, and sometimes memory starts to fail. And I had 2 older parents that both passed away, and I remember getting phone calls all the time of people trying to sell them stuff, so that really irks me when people are like taking advantage of people. So you'll never come to one of my meetings and have anybody selling you something. It's all about information. I just want to present information to the veterans. So I'm always like we have the mayor of Rock Hill. He's come out 2 times. He's coming out again this year. Melinda's a regular at our group. So we're always looking for just things that informative for the veterans. It's never going to be a sales pitch. I guess I'm the only one that's giving a sales pitch, because I am selling services. But my heart's in the right place, and I want to help veterans. Someone told me once, as long as you're doing the right things, the money will follow. Go ahead, you have a question.
What's the location of the presentation of the quilt?
It's going to be, if you know where the new, I don't know the exact address, but it's on Cherry Road. It is the Golden Corral.
Oh, okay.
If you know where, yeah, we're going to do it right there at the Golden Corral. So yeah, it is a really nice Golden Corral. It's been there probably 2 years now. I can't believe it's been there that long. But it's one of the nicer ones. And they give us the whole back room. And this past year we pushed our meeting out to 9:30 versus 8:30. So now you can actually stay, and they start serving lunch at 11:30. So you can stay right there and eat as well. Any other questions or concerns? I think that is about it for me. I think I've covered everything. So happy to be out here. You were right, the food was amazing. You kept telling me it's restaurant quality food. It really, really is. Good. Another question?
Would we have an opportunity to speak with you one-on-one after your presentation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll hang out for a little bit. And like I said, any monthly, if you ever come to a monthly meeting, we always hang out afterwards and chat for a little bit. And I also have a few flyers and some business cards. I'll leave them on the table there. And on my business card on the back is everything we do. Like I said, we do everything short of what a nurse does. But the last thing I'd like to say is I hope you never need my services. I really do. But in the event you do, I'll be very happy to help you. I'm actually the only company that does this in this area that's veteran-owned, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of my veteran service. You know, a lot of veterans I know, I had to figure this out. Actually, another veteran from Chicago, he was telling me this because I didn't even have it on my calling card. I didn't even put anything about a veteran. He was like, why are you not telling people about this? And I said, you guys know how it is with vets. I'm looking for recognition or notoriety, and a lot of times it's the last thing out of people's mouth that they just don't brag about their veteran service or status. And I think, like a lot of you guys, I'm pretty humble. You know, I was not drafted like a lot of you guys were. My heart really was out to those. You know, I had two brothers that went to the Vietnam War. In the Navy, I like him better, no, just kidding. And then the other one was in the Marines, and then my sister, she's in the Air Force as well. But the two older brothers, they were both drafted. And I know it's, man, it must have been a tough time. I can't even imagine. I consider it like a vacation for me compared to what they went through and what a lot of you guys went through as well. So thank you for your service. Anything else? Thank you once again. It's a great chat with you guys.